Okay, there's my busted U-joint. There's my two new carbon off-road axles from Metal Cloak. And I am about to lift this Jeep and pop off both tires. This is going to be more than I've ever done on an axle, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, both big fat tires are off. Gotta put one more jack stand under there. I'm gonna try to leave it angled for cleaning purposes when I get the other side out. There's the other one. This is the random fix I did when I yanked the axle out. Okay, I'm not gonna show the other side, but basically I'm gonna take off the brakes, the rotor, the hub, and that'll leave me with a nice line through there. I'm gonna start on the way out and go in, so I'm gonna take this big bolt off first, which I'm using a 36, which isn't perfect, but it did work for my other one. So I'm gonna do that. Then I'm gonna take off these back here, and then there are some little ones inside, which I'll show you, that have to come off to get the kind of the hub off. Okay, now let's remember I'm an amateur at this, but this is how I get this big bolt off here, the axle nut. I wedged a heavy-duty screwdriver in there, and then that gave me enough to get it to work. I have to take the caliper off. Let's see, here we are. I'm using a 13/16, which was the one that fit best. It's really tight. And there's two of those, one up above, one down below. And then once caliper's off, I'm just using some 550 cord to hold it up and out of the way. Now the next thing I'm not gonna forget about is, well, I'm gonna remove the rotor, set it aside. Next I'm using a 5mm Allen to loosen this bolt so I can get that little sensor out of there. And then I loosen up those and pull this whole hub off. There's what they are, what I'm gonna be loosening next. And those take a 13mm, what I was using. Okay, got the hub off. It requires a little whacking with that thing on each side to get it off. And then now we're to pulling out the axle shaft, which I have had to turn the hubs back and forth on either side to get to the bolts. Then I turned it back to kind of a straight position, and now I'm gonna try to get this thing out. The other side was pretty easy to get out. Maybe it's because it was loose for so long, but I'm gonna use both hands on this. Well, there we are. Got the axle shaft out. I ended up tapping on it with the mallet just on the back side of the U-joint, really gently, and then applying pressure pulling, and it came out. There it is. It's in pretty good shape. No damage, actually really good shape. There's no rattle in here. These are pretty heavy, heavy duty. They actually look bigger than these. So I don't know if this is chromoly. Does anyone know? These are. I'm guessing these aren't, and that's the difference in the size. These are pretty beefy. I'm actually gonna keep this one as a spare, and I may rebuild that one and buy a new top for it. That one got really damaged. Okay, just hit my pumpkin cover with some brake cleaner to try to clean off around these bolts, mostly along the bottom. The top's pretty clean. And now I'm gonna remove those. I think there's 8 of them. I'm not gonna bother to drain it. I'll just crack it open and let it spill, and then we'll refill it. Okay, got them all out. They're not torqued in very tight. And now I'm gonna just bang on that Terraflex cover until it splits on the bottom. I'm gonna use a rubber mallet. Okay, popped it off. and it looks really good. And actually, you can't tell in here because it's a black thing, but the fluid actually came out really clean, which is good because I did change it the end of last year, so it's not been in there that long. But everything looks really good. Now, it's got a little bit of writing on there. Not sure what that means. Here's the locker. I need to figure out how to take all these gears out without damaging that locker and keeping everything in order. And I'm going to do that because I want to take out the seals, the inner seals that I have for the new axles. I figured if we're going to do it, may as well do it right. Those new axle shafts were $800, so let's do it right. Okay, I'm going to have to take this housing off. So what I've done is marked white on one side. We'll see if that stays. So this facing up, that one is going to be on the right, in the right hole. We'll see if that works. And we'll see how easy it is to get that out of there, because that can't fit through that. And I need that to come out of there. Okay. After all is said and done, I had to cut the wires. The pin tools, or the D-pin tools that I got, would not work for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. So I've got it marked white and black, and I have the other side ready to go to connect it back up. Now, I just want to make sure I get everything back in the order it's supposed to be in. So I'm about to wedge this thing out, and I need to keep all the shims in place. So I'm trying to get an idea of what is here and what is there. By the way, that shim there that smashed was like that when I opened it. Okay, basically, I'm just banging these seals. There's the seal, and you can see the tube that I'm just gonna tap around the edge. I just did the long side, and it does damage the seal, but I don't care because I'm putting in new ones. So now I'll tap this one. So I'm just gonna tap it around it. There we go. Okay. And let me grab that out of there. So, there we go. There's my spent seal. Now I'm gonna use some brake cleaner to clean off in there. Okay, here's the new Spicer inner seal that I'm gonna push in with this tool. I'll do one on each side, and then I'll put the outer seals on, and then I can shove the carrier group back in. Got it pretty well cleaned out. It's not perfect, but I think it'll be just fine. So it seemed to help for me to put the seal on the end of this to get it in place. Otherwise it just wobbles around in there and wants to go. Then I've just got this kind of finger tight, smashed up against there, and I'm just gonna tighten it down with I've got a big crescent wrench I'm gonna use to just slowly tighten that down, and that should hopefully push it in flush. Okay. There's the other one. Oops, too much review. The other one is in. It looks like there's a little snag or something up there, but that thing went in really nice again. The tool makes that's the way to go. Now, the last axles I had on had just a little plastic thing to try to keep stuff out of here. I decided to go with these aftermarket ones, which I may have to grease up for that side and shove in there. And cool that I can put a little grease on them, but those are gonna do a better job, I think, keeping crap out. Okay, these fit perfect. They slide in tight. It actually took pressure on this side where the end wasn't damaged to get it in there. There's 3 O-rings. So I greased it up inside and then on the O-rings. And then there's a zerk here, so I can grease up the edge of the axle. And this is like a really durable rubber seal. The zerk towards the front, but like they are snug. They're like all the way in there. I'm really excited about that, keeping crap out. If you look at not much water got in. The seal didn't fail on the old ones, but you can see how much rust, meaning oxidation's occurring inside there. And this is the only protection it had, which did not fit flush against the axle. So it's like plastic, it's not even rubber, so that wasn't doing it. With these ones in, I think it's going to go in, and that little edge is just going to grab this and create a nice seal there. I'm really excited. Out of time. Got the carrier group back in. It's tricky to get the shims back in together. I had to kind of crowbar it out and push them in, and crowbar it out and push them in, and then at the very end I kind of tapped them into place and got them what I think is flush. Now the trick is I got to fish that thing back through the little teeny hole in there. My little test drive. Seems to be behaving properly. And no wheels have fallen off yet.